तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनम कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are in the conversations of 1st September 1885 and English page 842, last 2-3 lines. Bengali page 908. ठीक है. Bengali page 909, middle of that. Sri Ramakrishna took his midday meal. On account of his illness, he ate very little. The master's natural tendency of mind was to soar into the plane of God consciousness. He would force his mind to be conscious of the body, but like a child, he was incapable of looking after his body. So he had maintained a child attitude throughout his life because he demonstrated to the public in general that if you can live without the ego of a grown-up man, if you could totally, more than totally, depend entirely on God for your everything, then you will succeed easily in spiritual life. That is the motive behind Thakur's Balak Bhav, childlike attitude throughout his life. Like a child, he was incapable of looking after his body. Like a child, he said to the devotees, I have eaten a little, I shall rest now. Like a child means no formality that what they will think and they are sitting, and so like a child he said, I will take a little rest. You may go out for a little while. Straight away, this also is like a child. Sri Ramakrishna rested a few minutes, that's all. The devotees returned to the room. That was his rest. Girish, the Guru and the Ishta. Ishta means the chosen ideal. Guru is the spiritual teacher. I like very much the form of the Guru because he appears in the human form. I am not afraid of him. Why should it be so? I am afraid of ecstasy. At the sight of ecstasy, I run away. So in ecstasy, Thakur appears like God. Then Girish is shaken. But when he is his friend, guide, on the same level, then he is happy. Master, he who is the Ishta appears in the form of the Guru. So they are not different. Ishta, God himself, has taken the form of the Guru to instruct him how he should come to God. That is the spiritual life. We have our gurus, mentors, teachers. They are nothing but a body, a form, through which God comes and guides us. So we don't have to think of two realities. The aspirant practices meditation on a corpse. That is the tantric sadhana, that is called Shava sadhana. On the body of the corpse, the sadhak sits. When he obtains the vision of the chosen ideal, it is really the Guru who appears to him and says, this is that. That is to say, he points out to the disciple is Ishta. Uttering these words, the Guru disappears into the form of the Ishta. So Ishta comes as Guru, Guru does the work, and Guru disappears into the Ishta after pointing out. So that is how he says that they are not different. The disciple no longer sees the Guru in the state of perfect jnana. Who is the Guru and who is the Shishya? Perfect jnana means absolute Advaita, no two anywhere. That creates a very difficult situation. There, the teacher and the disciple do not see each other. They become one. A devotee, Guru's head and disciple's feet. That is a proverb, we say. Guru's head and disciple's feet. What is the meaning? The head of the disciple belongs to the Guru. So Guru's head, Guru's possession is the Shishya's head. And Shishya's feet, that does not mean Shishya's feet. Shishya possesses Guru's feet. So that is how the proverb is made. Girish, joyously. Yes, yes, it is true. Navagopal. But listen to its meaning. The disciple's head belongs to the Guru and the Guru's feet belongs to the disciple. Do you understand? Girish. No, that is not the meaning. Haven't you seen the child climbing on the head of the father? That is why the disciple's feet are mentioned. Disciple with his feet climbing on the head of the Guru. So he wants to take that literally. No, Gopal. But then the disciple must feel like a young baby, because the young baby climbs on the father, not a grown-up man. So that is the point. Master, there are two classes of devotees. One class has the nature of the kitten. The kitten depends completely on its mother. It accepts whatever the mother does for it. It accepts whatever the mother does for it. The kitten only mew. It doesn't know what to do or where to go. Sometimes the mother puts the kitten near the hearth, sometimes on the bed. Devotees of this class give God the power of attorney and thus become free of all worry. So Girish's attitude, Thakur explained like that, and he was himself like that. The Sikh said to me that God was kind. I said to them, how is that? He is our father and our mother. Shouldn't parents bring up their children after begetting them? Do you mean to say that the neighbors will look after them? Devotees of this class have an unswerving conviction that God is our mother and our father. Mother, he has explained, and also father, because the child climbs the back and head of the father. There is another class of devotees. They have the nature of the young monkey. The young monkey clings to its mother with might and main. The devotees who follow like the young monkeys have a slight idea of being the doer. Slight idea because they are doing only clasping the mother. They feel we must go to the sacred places, we must practice japa and austerity, we must perform worship with 16 articles as prescribed by the Shastra. Only then shall we be able to realize God. Such is their attitude. So Thakur points out two attitudes. He does not say this is wrong or that is wrong. The aspirants of both classes are devotees of God. The further you advance, the more you will realize that God alone has become everything. He alone does everything. He alone is the Guru and He alone is the Ishta. He alone gives us knowledge and devotion. Through Guru, through Ishta, all that, He Himself gives us knowledge. So we must understand. We must feel that whatever knowledge we have got or are getting is from God's gift. God has given us. The further you advance, the more you will see that there are other things even beyond the sandalwood. So going forward is necessary. And Thakur has this story, a woodcutter used to cut wood and a brahmachari told him, you go forward. So he went forward and saw a sandalwood forest. So he became very rich. Then he thought, Brahma told me to go forward. It did not tell about the sandalwood forest. So he went further and he saw silver mines. Then after some days, he went still forward and he saw gold mines. And afterwards, he again went forward and found diamonds. So all his needs were met forever. So in that way, we should proceed towards God. We should not be satisfied with little more and more and more till we are identified with Him. There are things even beyond the sandalwood forest, mines of silver and gold and precious gems. Therefore, go forward. But how can I ask people to go forward? If worldly people go too far, then the bottom will drop out of their work. So he says, how can I ask people to go forward? Worldly people, attachment is there, then they cannot go forward. One day Keshav was conducting a religious service. He said, oh God, may we all sink and disappear in the river of bhakti. When the worship was over, I said to him, look here, how can you disappear altogether in the river of bhakti? If you do, what will happen to those seated behind the screen, ladies? But do one thing, sink now and then and come back again to dry land. So that is the fact of life. Attached people cannot go forward. Now laugh. The Vaishnava from Katwa was arguing. Master to the Vaishnava, stop that sizzling noise. When butter containing water is heated over a fire, it makes that sound. If a man but once tastes the joy of God, his desire to argue takes wing. Actual experience of God is far superior to argument about God. Buddhi cannot reach God. The bee, realizing the joy of sipping honey, doesn't buzz about anymore. What will you achieve by quoting from books? The Pandits recite verses and do nothing else. That's all. What will you gain by merely repeating Siddhi? Siddhi is that hymn. We will not be intoxicated even by gargling with a solution of Siddhi. It must go into your stomach. Not until then will you be intoxicated. One cannot comprehend what I am saying unless one prays to God in solitude, all by oneself with a longing heart. So, unless you, with a longing heart, pray to God, you cannot even understand spirituality. Dr. Akhal arrived to examine Sri Ramakrishna. The master said to him eagerly, "Come in and sit down." The conversation with the Vaishnava continued. Master, man should possess dignity and alertness. Only whose spiritual consciousness is awakened possesses this dignity and alertness and can be called a man. Dignity and awareness. Oh, a lot of it is dropped. Okay. We shall continue with that. Manhush is the Bengali word that has been translated as dignity and alertness. Then only he can be called a man. Futile is the human birth without the awakening of spiritual consciousness. There are many men at Kamarpukur with big bellies and imposing mustaches. Yet the villagers go with palanquin and bring righteous and truthful persons from 20 miles away to arbitrate their quarrels. There are big people in Kamarpukur, but when any quarrel ensues, the people do not believe in them. They bring good scholars from villages 20 miles away and honor them, bring them in palanquin. They do not bring mere pandits. That means one who knows things, wise. Truthfulness is the tapasya of the Kali Yuga. Truthfulness, people think, has always been a tapasya. Why Kali Yuga? Because in previous ages, it was not difficult. It was not so difficult to practice truthfulness. In Kali Yuga, every day it is becoming more and more difficult to practice. But that is why it is called tapasya. Without tapasya, you cannot get anything. So, in spite of the obstacles of the Kali Yuga, one must speak truth. One must stick fast to truth. Truthfulness, submission to God, and looking on the wives of others as one's own mother, these are the means to realize God. That is Tulsidasa's couplet. Like a child, Sri Ramakrishna said to the physician, "Sir, please cure my throat." Doctor, do you ask me to cure you? Master, the physician is Narayana himself. I honor everybody. So the doctor was feeling humble. He thought Thakur is a high spiritual person and is asking me. To that Thakur replies that I honor everybody and physician is nothing but a form of God. You may say that if I look on all as Narayana, then I should keep quiet. But I also accept the words of the Mahut Narayana. So a big story goes behind it, an important story, important lesson from this story. A guru had told his disciples that Narayana is in every being. The disciples went to cut wood from the forest. A mad elephant was coming, and the Mahut, the rider, was shouting, "Mad elephant, go away, go away, go away." Others ran away. But this one person thought, Guru has told, God is in everything. So, Hathi also, elephant also is Narayana. Why should I go away? Elephant took him by the trunk and threw him. He became injured, unconscious. He was carried to the ashrama. Then they sprinkled water and he came to consciousness. Then Guru asked him what happened. He said that you had told me that God is in everything. Then the Guru said to him, yes, God is in everything. Then God is in the mouth also. Why you did not listen to him when he is telling go away? That is the story. Meaning is that there is absolute value. That is, you have to realize God is in everything. Only hearing will not do. But till you have realized, you have to follow certain rules, regulations, the do's and don'ts, and you have to do sadhana. So, relative values. There are relative values, but the relative values should not take us away from God. Understood? We see many people in the name of practicality go away from the truth. Thakur says mouth also is a Narayana. That means the relative values should also be derived from the absolute value. But we have to follow. You understand? Till you realize God is in everything does not mean you behave like that. God is in everything means you have to realize God is in everything. Until you are realized, you have to follow relative values also. But in the name of relative values, you should not have your own sense of practicality. Those relative values should also be derived from the absolute values. That is the meaning of this story. So Mahut also is Narayana. The pure mind and the pure Atman are one and the same thing. This I explained many times. Pure Atman is one without a second. So the mind and everything is nothing but appearance of that very Atman. When the mind is pure, then one will realize that the mind is not separate from the Atman. And practical life, whatever comes up in the pure mind is the voice of God. God alone is the Mahut Narayana. So God is in elephant, God is in Mahut Narayana, God himself is in Mahut Narayana. So that is stress, that relative value are nothing but derived from the absolute. Why should I not listen to God? He alone is the master. As long as he keeps I consciousness in me, I shall obey his orders. When there is no I consciousness, you are realizing God. Relative value, obeying God from absolute. The doctor was going to examine Sri Ramakrishna's throat. The master said, Dr. Mahendra Sarkar pressed my tongue the way they press a cow's. Like a child, Sri Ramakrishna said to the physician, pulling at his shirt sleeves again and again, Sir, my dear sir, please cure my throat. Looking at the laryngoscope, he said with a smile, I know it. You will see the reflection in it. Narendra sang, but on the account of the master's illness, there was not much music. So, September 2. After finishing his midday meal, Sri Ramakrishna sat on the small coach. Now we'll have small portions only, because Thakur was not talking much. After finishing his midday meal, Sri Ramakrishna sat on the small coach and talked as Dr. Bhagwan Rudra and M. Rakhal, Latu, and the other devotees were in the room. You understand, Dr. Rakhal is a different person. Rakhal is Thakur's disciple. And now the doctor is Bhagwan Rudra. That also I told, Bhagwan does not mean God. That is his proper name. M. Rakhal, Latu, and other devotees were in the room. The physician heard all about the master's illness. Sri Ramakrishna came down to the floor and sat near the doctor. He does not want to appear any superior. Master, you see, medicine does not agree with me. My system is different. Okay? Medicine, allopathic medicine or Ayurvedic medicine also disturbs the body quite a bit. Homeopathic medicine only rouses a natural resistance to the disease. So that is why they decided to put Thakur under homeopathy. Well, what do you think of this? When I touch a coin, my hand gets twisted. My breathing stops. Further, if I tie a knot to the corner of my cloth, I cannot breathe. My breathing stops until the knot is untied. So, aversion to money, vairagyam. He practiced so hard that this became the result. He cannot touch money, and tying a knot means collection. So, his breathing stops unless that knot is opened. The master asked the devotee to bring a rupee. When Sri Ramakrishna held it in his hand, the hand began to writhe with pain. The master's breathing also stopped. After the coin had been taken away, he breathed deeply 3 times and his hand relaxed. The doctor became speechless with wonder to see this strange phenomena. The doctor said to him, action on the nerves. Master to the doctor, I get into another state of mind. It is impossible for me to lay up anything. One day I visited Shambhu Malik's garden house. At that time, I had been suffering badly from stomach trouble. Shambhu said to me, take a grain of opium now and then. It will help you. He tied a little opium in a corner of my cloth. As I was returning to the Kali temple, I began to wander about near the gate as if unable to find the way. Then I threw the opium away and at once regained my normal state. I returned to the temple garden. So, collecting, carrying, he cannot do. That is full dependence upon the God. One day at Kamarpukur, I picked some mangoes. I was carrying them home, but I could not walk. I had to stay standing at one point. Then I left the mangoes in a hollow. Only after that could I return home. Well, how do you explain them? Doctor, there is a force behind it, will force. So he's trying to explain. First he said action on the nerves. So Thakur gave me more illustration. He said will force, M. He, meaning the master, says that it is God's force. You say that it is will force. In will there is a deliberation. I shall not do this. But If the consciousness is changed, God is the doer. So that has affected this. Master to the doctor. Again, I get into such a state of mind that if someone says I am better, I at once feel much better. The other day, the Brahmani said, you are 50% better. At once I began to dance. Pure mind. If somebody says something, it immediately believes it becomes like that. This is wonderful. Hiram Krishna was much pleased with the physician. He said to him, you have a very fine nature. There are two characteristics of knowledge, a peaceful nature and absence of pride. Peaceful nature, not much disturbed, not talking, an absence of pride, not becoming an advisor to others. The doctor has lost his wife. Master to the doctor, I said that God can be realized if one feels drawn to him by the intensity of these three attractions. The child's attraction for the mother. So both are there. In the first day, he has talked of mother's attraction to the child. The husband's attraction for the chaste wife. This also is, no, let me check up Bengali. No. Mayer Khelu Portan. Oh, language. The child's attraction for the mother. Mother's attraction for the child. The chaste wife's attraction for the husband. And attraction of worldly possessions for the worldly man. So language is like that. The worldly man's attraction towards worldly possessions. Mother's attraction towards the child. A chaste wife's attraction towards the husband. A worldly man's attraction towards the worldly objects. We have seen the different. We take up that first. Worldly man's attraction to the worldly objects has two elements. One is the variety of objects he wants to enjoy, and possessions, and these are mine. So if that is turned to God, God is mine, and all my variety, I will eat God's prasad. I will see God's form. I will walk to temples. So the variety of my actions of both the knowledge senses and the action senses are directed to God. Mother's attraction for the child is unselfishness totally. And wife's attraction for the husband is union. So these three forces towards God. Please cure me of my illness. That is again and again like a child because he wants to talk to people. The doctor was going to examine the master's throat. Sri Ramakrishna was seated in a chair on the semicircular post. Referring to Dr. Sarkar, the master said, he is a villain. He pressed my tongue as if I were a cow. Doctor, he didn't hurt you purposely to explaining to a child like that. Master, no, he pressed the tongue to make a thorough examination. So he knows that. That is his sense of humor as a child. Sunday, September 20. Now we are jumping, because he was not able to talk much. 1885. Actually, Master Masha could not write much about the pain. So that is why he is not describing now. Actually, there is a book, Sri Ramakrishna's Last Days. There, from Maharaj's diary, our revered Swami Pitambarananda has taken out. The notes were there, but to describe them in detail was beyond Master Maharaj's feelings. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room, surrounded by devotees. Navagopal, Haralal, Rakhal, Latu, and others were present. A Goswami who was a musician was also there. M arrived with Dr. Rakhal of Bahubazar. The physician began to examine the master. He was a stout person and had rather thick fingers. Master smiling to the physician. Your fingers are like a wrestler's. Mahendra Sarkar also examined me. He pressed my tongue so hard that it hurt me. He pressed my tongue the way they press a cow. So he is going on repeating that to all the doctors. Doctor, I shall not hurt you, sir. The physician made out the prescriptions. Sri Ramakrishna was talking. Master to the devotee, well, people ask why if I am such a holy person, I should be ill. Correct. Bhagwan Das Babaji too was ill and bedridden a long time. So Mahapurush intervenes to tell that physical suffering has nothing to do with spirituality. Master, but look at Dr. Madhu. At the age of 60, he carries food to the house of his mistress and he has no illness. Goswami, sir, your illness is for the sake of others. You take upon yourself the sins of those. So Goswami has understood lot. You fall ill because you accept their sins. A devotee. You will soon be cured if only you say to the Divine Mother, Mother, please make me well. Master, I cannot ask God to cure my disease. He's telling the doctor, but cannot ask God. The attitude of the servant-master relationship is nowadays less strong in me. Once in a while I say, oh mother, please mend the sheath of the sword a little. Sword and sheath. But such prayers are also becoming less frequent. Nowadays I do not find my eye. I see that it is God alone who resides in the sheath. The Goswami had been invited to sing Kirtan. A devotee asked, will there be any Kirtan? Sri Ramakrishna was ill and all were afraid that the Kirtan might throw his mind into ecstasy and thus aggravate the illness. That is why Naren also did not sing much that day. Sri Ramakrishna said, let there be a little singing. All are afraid of my going into ecstasy. Spiritual emotion hurts the throat. The Goswami began the Kirtan. Sri Ramakrishna could not control himself. He stood up and began to dance with devotees. The physician watched the whole scene. So, where is the illness? A hired carriage was waiting for the Dr. Akhal. He and him were ready to leave for Calcutta. They saluted the master. The Sri Ramakrishna said to him affectionately, have you had your meal? Small things only has been mentioned. Thursday, September 4, 24, 1885. It was the night of the full moon. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small coach. He was very ill. Him and other devotees were sitting on the floor. Actually, on full moon days and new moon days, the disease always increases. Master to him, every now and then I think that the body is a mere pillowcase. The only real substance is the indivisible Satchidananda, Akhanda. When I go into divine ecstasy, this illness of the throat remains away from me because the mind is no more in the body. I am now somewhat in that mood and so I feel like laughing. Impossible. Impossible that cancer. Some ladies of Dvija's family arrived. They saluted the master and sat on one side. Pointing to one of the ladies, Sri Ramakrishna asked, "Who is this lady? Is it she who brought up Dvija? Why is Dvija brought? Why has Dvija bought an ektara? Ektara is the instrument with one string. M. It has two strings, sir. So the name is ektara, but it has two strings. Amon ektara ki nature kya? Okay. Oh, Thakur did not utter the word ektara. He is saying Amon. That is showing by gestures the ektara. Anyway, but there are two strings actually. Okay. Master, Dvija's father is opposed to his view. Won't other people criticize him? It is wise for him to pray to God secretly. A picture of Gauranga and Netai hung on the wall of the master's room. It was a picture of the two brothers singing devotional songs with their companions at Navadvip, Ramlal to the master. Then may I give him, meaning him, the picture? Master, yes. Sri Ramakrishna had told to give that picture to the master so that his devotional attitude will be aroused. Sri Ramakrishna was then under Dr. Pratap's treatment. So many doctors have changed. He awoke at midnight, he woke up at midnight and felt extremely restless. Harish, his attendant, was in the room. Rakhal also was there. Ramlal was asleep on the veranda. The master remarked later on, I was feeling extremely restless. I felt like embracing Harish. They rubbed a little medicinal oil on my head. Then I began to dance. Embrace to cool the body. We pass on Sri Ramakrishna at Shampur. So Dakshineshwar chapter is over. October 18, 1885. The doctor had definitely diagnosed Sri Ramakrishna's illness as cancer. No proper arrangement for his treatment and nursing could be made at Dakshineshwar. He needed the constant attention of a physician, which could not be given at the temple garden. Furthermore, the devotees who lived in Calcutta found it very inconvenient to attend on him daily at Dakshineshwar. Therefore, the older devotees had rented a small two-story house in Bagh Bazar, Calcutta, and had brought the master there. Sri Ramakrishna, however, had not liked that place and had gone to Balram's house. In a few days, 1 week actually, a new house had been engaged in Shampukur, in the northern section of Calcutta, and the master had been taken there. He had been placed under the treatment of Dr. Mahendra Lal Sarkar. The new building had two large rooms and two smaller ones on the second floor. One of the larger rooms was used as the parlor, and in the other the master lived. Description so that we can feel, we can meditate, we can visualize. Of the two smaller rooms, One was used as a sleeping room by the devotees, and the other by the Holy Mother. When she came there, near the exit to the Uru was a small covered square space where the Holy Mother stayed during the day and prepared the master's food. So the arrangement is being described. It was Vijaya Day. Vijaya Day, after Navratri, Vijaya Dashami, Dashera, the fourth day of the worship of Durga. Bengalis worship Durga on Saptami, Ashtami, Navami. So the fourth day is Vijaya Dashami. When the image is immersed in water, on that day the Divine Mother returns to her heavenly abode at Mount Kailash, leaving gloom in the hearts of the devotees. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. The air was chilly. Though ill, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on his bed. He was like a 5-year-old child who knows nothing but its mother. Now Gopal, M and a few other devotees were present. Surendra arrived and sat down. The Divine Mother had been worshipped at his house for the past 3 days. Sri Ramakrishna had not been able to go there on account of his illness, but he had sent some of his disciples. Surendra was in a very unhappy mood because on this day the image of the mother was to be immersed in the water. Surendra had to run away from home. Master to him, what if the image is thrown into the water? May mother dwell in the heart. Surendra was disconsolate. He was crying to the Divine Mother and talking to her. At this yearning of his beloved disciple, Sri Ramakrishna could not control his tears. He looked at him and said in a choked voice, what bhakti, what great love he feels for God. Master to Surendra, yesterday evening at 7, that is the important thing. Yesterday evening at 7 or 7:30, I saw your worship hall in a vision. I saw the divine image full of effulgence. This place and your hall were joined by a stream of light flowing between them. Like a road, and Thakur had walked on that. Surendra, at that time I was crying to the mother in the worship hall. My elder brothers had gone upstairs. I thought the mother said, I will come again. It was about 11 o'clock in the... So mother had assured him. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning. Sri Ramakrishna finished his meal. M poured water onto his hand for him to rinse his mouth. Master to him, Rakhal has indigestion. It is best to take only sattvic food. Haven't you read about it in the Gita? Don't you read the Gita? Step by step he has come to that. Yes, sir. The Gita speaks of temperance in eating. Sattvic food, Rajasic food, Tamasic food, Sattvic kindness, Sattvic ego, and so on. All these are described in the Gita. So he's talking of 17th chapter of the Gita. Okay. Master, have you a copy of that book? Yes, sir. Master, it contains the essence of all the scriptures. Gita contains the essence of all the scriptures. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimannai Shastra Vistrai Yat Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinismruta. There is a shlok in Gita Mahatmya that Gita only should be studied. Why you need the details of the other Shastras? Gita has come out of the mouth of God Himself. And the Gita describes various ways of realizing God. You too say that God can be reached by various paths: knowledge, devotion, work, and meditation. Master, do you know the meaning of Karma Yoga? It is to surrender in God the fruits of all action. So, Phalatyaga is the main principle of Karma Yoga. Yes, sir. I have read that in the Gita. It also says that there are three ways of performing action. Master, what are they? First, one may perform karma to attain jnana. Second, to teach others. Third, under the impulse of one's nature. After rinsing his mouth, the master chewed bitter leaf. Up till now it is there. Later on he cannot do all that. Sri Ramakrishna was... So this has been described to show that his behavior was like ordinary normal people. Sri Ramakrishna was talking with him about Dr. Sarkar. M had been at the doctor's house the previous day to report the master's condition. Master, what did you talk about? That means how doctor could be influenced to spirituality. That is the topic here. M. There are many books in the doctor's room. I took out one to read, and now and then read a passage aloud to Dr. Sarkar. It was a book by Sir Humphrey Davy. He wrote about the necessity of divine incarnation. He is a scientist, but he wrote about the necessity of divine incarnation. Master, splendid. That's very good. The author gives the illustration of the sun. One cannot look at the sun, but one can look at its reflected rays. Master, very fine. Anything else? Another passage stated that real knowledge is faith. Master, that too is very good. If one has faith, one has everything. So real knowledge will come by faith. And the author dreamt of the Roman gods and goddesses. Master, do such books really exist? Surely the author was inspired by God. Did you talk of anything else? People like Dr. Sarkar speak of doing good to the world, so I told him what you had said about it. Master smiling. What did I say? About Shambhu Malik. He had said to you, it is my desire to devote my money to the building of schools, hospitals, dispensaries, and the like. That will do good to many. Thereupon you had said to him, suppose God appears before you, will you then ask God to build schools, hospitals, and dispensaries? I told the doctor another thing. Master Mahashaya, repeating correctly Thakur's view, Master, those who are born to do work belong to a different class. What else? So, lower level. What else did you say? I said to the doctor, if your aim is to visit the image of Mother Kali, what will you gain by spending all your time in giving alms to the poor? That is another thing. When you go to a temple, many beggars are sitting. But if you want to see God, one should first see that. On your way back, you should give on the charity. Alms to the poor by the roadside. First, you had better somehow visit the image. Afterwards, you may give alms to your heart's content. Master, did you talk about anything else? Yes, I told him that many of those who come to you have conquered lust. Thereupon the doctor replied, I too have conquered lust. I said, you are a great man. It is no wonder that you have conquered lust. But the amazing thing is that under his influence, even insignificant creatures have conquered it. You are a great man, powerful man. But ordinary people also because of Thakur's influence they can do that. Afterwards, I told him what you had said to Girish. Master smiling. What did I say? You said to Girish, the doctor has not been able to surpass you. You said that with reference to his calling you a divine incarnation. So Master could not go beyond that. Master, discuss the doctrine of divine incarnation with Dr. Sarkar. He who liberates others is an incarnation of God. The scriptures speak of 10 of 24 and also innumerable incarnations. Important, Thakur knows it clearly, not 10 only. M. Dr. Sarkar is keenly interested in Girish Ghosh. He always asks me whether Girish has given up drinking. He keeps a sharp eye on him. Master, did you tell Girish about that? M. Yes, sir, I did. And I also told him about giving up drinking. Master, what did he say? M. He said, since you all say so, I take your words as the words of the Master himself, but I won't promise anything. Master joyfully. Kalipada told me that he had altogether given up drinking. Okay? So, it was afternoon that we take up tomorrow. Om Tava Kathamrutam Tapta Jivanam Kaviviridhitam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Vigrunantiye Bhuridajana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.